I never thought a routine bus ride home from my dead-end job at the coffee shop would shatter my world. But there I was, huddled in the back seat, nursing a bruised ego after another failed date with a guy who ghosted me mid-conversation, when the driver, a burly, straight-as-an-arrow type named Mike, slammed on the brakes and yelled at a group of rowdy teens harassing me for my rainbow pin. "Get off my bus, you punks!" he barked, his voice cutting through the tension like a knife. And in that moment, something in me shifted, a spark I couldn't ignore. Mike wasn't the kind of guy you'd peg as an ally. Mid-40s with a wedding band glinting under the fluorescent lights, a faded Marine's tattoo on his forearm, and a no-nonsense demeanor honed from years navigating New York's chaotic streets. He drove the M15 line, the one that snaked from Harlem down to the financial district, picking up everyone from Wall Street suits to weary night shift workers like me. I'd seen him every evening for months, exchanging polite nods, but that night was different. After kicking the teens off at the next stop, he glanced in the rearview mirror, his eyes meeting mine. "You okay back there, kid?" he asked, his tone gruff but laced with genuine concern. I nodded, mumbling a thanks, but inside, my heart raced. Not from fear, but from the unexpected warmth in his voice. As the bus emptied out, leaving just a handful of passengers, Mike pulled over at my stop earlier than usual. "Hey, Alex," he said, surprising me by using my name. I must have mentioned it once in passing. "Those idiots don't represent everyone. Walk safe." I stepped off, the cool autumn air hitting my face, but his words lingered. That night I couldn't sleep, replaying the scene. Why did a straight bus driver care? In a city where indifference was the norm, his intervention felt like a lifeline. Little did I know, it was the start of a connection that would upend both our lives. The next evening, I boarded the bus with a mix of anticipation and nerves. Mike greeted me with a nod, but as the ride progressed, he struck up a conversation over the intercom, something he rarely did. "Folks, traffic's a nightmare tonight. Sit tight." Then, quieter, as if just for me, "How's your day going, Alex?" I moved closer to the front, chatting about my job, the endless grind of being a 25-year-old graphic designer moonlighting as a barista. He shared bits about his life. Married for 15 years to Sarah, a nurse, 2 kids in middle school, the daily battle against road rage. It was mundane yet intimate. Over the weeks, these talks became routine. He'd save the front seat for me, we'd discuss everything from politics to favorite movies. Mike was conservative-leaning, raised in a small Midwest town, but he listened when I talked about LGBTQ rights, nodding thoughtfully even if he didn't always agree. One rainy night, the bus broke down midway through the route. Passengers grumbled, but Mike handled it with calm efficiency, radioing for a replacement. As we waited, he turned to me. "You know, Alex, I've been thinking about what happened that night. My nephew came out last year, and my sister's struggling with it. Makes me wonder if I've been too set in my ways." His vulnerability caught me off guard. We talked for hours under the shelter of the bus, sharing stories. I opened up about my own coming out, the rejection from my religious parents back in Texas, the loneliness of building a new life in the city. Mike confessed his marriage wasn't perfect. Sarah worked long hours, and they argued about money, about drifting apart. It felt like we were peeling back layers, revealing the raw humanity beneath our facades. But doubts crept in. Was I reading too much into this? Mike was straight, married, off-limits. Yet, the way he looked at me sometimes, with a softness that contradicted his tough exterior, stirred feelings I tried to suppress. Society's judgments loomed large. The stigma of a gay man befriending a straight one, the whispers of homewrecker if things escalated. And Mike? He risked his job, his family stability by getting too close. Still, our bond grew, fueled by late-night texts after his shifts. Innocent at first, sharing memes or news articles but evolving into deeper confessions. Then came the turning point. It was Thanksgiving week, and I mentioned spending the holiday alone, my friends scattered. Mike invited me to his family's gathering, not as a date, but as a friend. "Sarah's cool with it," he assured me. "She knows about you from our talks." I hesitated, sensing the potential for conflict, but curiosity won. Arriving at their modest Brooklyn apartment, I was met with warmth from Sarah, a kind woman with tired eyes, and awkward curiosity from the kids. Dinner was lively, filled with laughter and debates. But as the evening wore on, I caught Mike's stealing glances, his hand brushing mine under the table accidentally? Or was it? The air thickened with unspoken tension, a spark that threatened to ignite into something more. Leaving that night, Mike walked me to the subway. "Thanks for coming, Alex. It meant a lot." His voice was low, eyes searching mine. In that moment, under the streetlights, he leaned in, not for a kiss, but a hug that lingered too long. My heart pounded. Was this the this in the story of my life? The unexpected act from a straight bus driver that blurred lines and set us on a collision course with reality? The days following Thanksgiving blurred into a whirlwind of confusion and exhilaration. Mike's texts came more frequently, laced with a familiarity that bordered on flirtation. "Missed our bus chats tonight," he'd write, or "thinking about that pie you brought. Sarah loved it, but I loved the company more." I replied cautiously, my fingers hovering over the keyboard, aware of the invisible boundaries we were tiptoeing around. Society's gaze felt heavier now. In a progressive city like New York, judgment still lurked in conservative pockets, in family expectations, in the mirror of self-doubt. Was I enabling something wrong? Mike had a family, a wife who trusted him, kids who idolized him. Yet, the pull was undeniable, a magnetic force drawing us closer amid the chaos of daily life. At work, my focus waned. Designs for clients turned into doodles of buses and silhouettes, my mind replaying that hug. Friends noticed. My roommate, Jamie, a fellow gay man who'd navigated his share of complicated relationships, warned me. "Alex, he's married. Straight guys experiment, but it usually ends in heartbreak for you." I brushed it off, insisting it was just friendship, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. Mike's stories painted a picture of a man trapped in routine, married young after the military, fulfilling societal roles without questioning them. Our conversations challenged that, forcing him to confront parts of himself he'd buried. One evening, as the bus emptied near Central Park, Mike pulled over unexpectedly. "Let's walk," he suggested, his voice steady but eyes uncertain. We strolled through the snow-dusted paths, the city lights twinkling like distant stars. He opened up about his past, a strict upbringing where emotions were weaknesses, where men like you were punchlines in locker rooms. "But meeting you, Alex, it's like seeing color for the first time," he admitted, stopping under a lamppost. His words hung in the air, heavy with implication. I felt a rush of empathy mixed with desire, but I pushed back. "Mike, what about Sarah? Your kids?" He sighed, rubbing his temples. "I love them, but I'm not in love anymore. Haven't been for years. Us. It's making me question everything." The confession sparked our first real conflict. I accused him of using me as an escape, a midlife crisis cliché. He fired back, saying I was projecting my fears of rejection. We parted angrily, but the silence that followed was deafening. Days turned into a week without contact. I rode other buses, avoiding the M15, but the emptiness gnawed at me. Society's norms screamed that this was taboo, a gay man potentially disrupting a heterosexual marriage. Online forums I'd scrolled through late at night debated it endlessly. Was emotional infidelity worse than physical? Could straight men fall for other men without labels? Then, Mike showed up at my coffee shop unannounced. "I can't stop thinking about you," he said. His uniform rumpled from a long shift. We talked in the back alley, rain pattering on dumpsters. He revealed he'd told Sarah about our friendship, omitting the deeper feelings, but she'd sensed something off. "She's asking questions I don't have answers for." My heart ached for all involved. This wasn't just about us. It rippled outward, affecting innocence. Yet, in that vulnerability, we shared a moment of raw honesty. "I don't know what I am, Alex," he whispered, "but with you, I feel alive." Our reconnection deepened the bond, but so did the secrecy. We'd meet in neutral places, parks, diners, discussing dreams deferred. Mike spoke of wanting to travel, to escape the grind. I shared aspirations of starting my own design firm. These talks fueled hope, but reality intruded. At a holiday party with mutual acquaintances, friends of Sarah's who rode his bus, I overheard whispers. That Alex kid's always on Mike's route. Think something's up. The judgment stung, a reminder of the social minefield we navigated. Mike's conservative family added pressure. His brother, a cop, made homophobic jokes at gatherings, unaware of the turmoil brewing. The climax of this phase came during a snowstorm that paralyzed the city. Stranded after work, I called Mike, who detoured his empty bus to pick me up. Inside the warm cabin, isolated from the world, we confronted the elephant in the room. "This can't go on like this," I said. "It's tearing me apart." He agreed, but instead of pulling away, he reached for my hand. "Then let's figure it out together." The touch was electric, innocent yet charged, symbolizing the line we'd crossed emotionally. As he drove me home, the storm raging outside mirrored the one within us. But the next day brought fallout. Sarah confronted Mike after finding our texts. Nothing explicit, but enough to raise alarms. "Are you having an affair?" she demanded. He denied it, but the seed of doubt was planted. Mike called me in panic, his voice breaking. "I don't want to lose my family, Alex, but I don't want to lose you either." The dilemma was gut-wrenching. Pursue this connection and risk destruction, or walk away and wonder what if? Society's script dictated the latter, but our hearts rebelled. The confrontation with Sarah escalated tensions to a boiling point. Mike confided that their argument lasted hours, dredging up years of unresolved issues. Her resentment over his emotional distance, his frustration with their stagnant life. "She thinks you're the symptom, not the cause," he told me over a hurried coffee meetup in a nondescript midtown cafe. I felt like the villain in a bad soap opera, the outsider disrupting a family unit. But was I? Mike insisted their marriage had cracks long before I appeared. Still, guilt gnawed at me. In therapy sessions I'd started attending, recommended by Jamie, I unpacked the ethics. Was it wrong to feel this way if no one had acted physically? The therapist posed hard questions about consent, about the collateral damage to Sarah and the kids. Public scrutiny added fuel. One evening on the bus, a passenger recognized me from the Thanksgiving photo Mike had posted on social media, innocuous, but telling. "You two seem close," she remarked loudly, eyebrows raised. Mike brushed it off, but the incident highlighted the invisibility cloak wearing thin. In LGBTQ circles, my situation sparked debates among friends. Some cheered the potential for Mike's self-discovery, others condemned it as predatory. "Straight men aren't projects, Alex," one said. "And married ones? That's a no-go." The internal conflict mirrored broader societal clashes. Progressive ideals versus traditional values, individual happiness versus family obligation. Mike began questioning his identity more openly. "Maybe I'm bi or something," he mused during a late-night park bench conversation, the Hudson River lapping nearby. "But labels scare me. What if it's just you?" His words were romantic, but laced with fear. We discussed the implications. Coming out in his 40s, potential divorce, custody battles. New York's laws favored joint custody, but emotional scars on the kids worried him most. "They're at that age where everything's confusing already," he said. I shared my own scars from parental rejection, urging caution. Yet our talks often circled back to us, though what could be tantalizingly close. A pivotal moment came at a Pride event I attended. Mike, curious, joined incognito, baseball cap low, away from crowds. Watching parades of joyful couples, he squeezed my hand briefly. "This could be us," he whispered. But reality crashed in when his phone buzzed. Sarah, wondering where he was. The lie he told, stuck at work, left a bitter taste. That night, we argued fiercely. "You can't have both worlds, Mike," I snapped. "Choose." He stormed off, leaving me in the throng of celebration, feeling utterly alone. The separation lasted 2 weeks, the longest yet. I threw myself into work, landing a freelance gig that boosted my confidence. But loneliness crept in, amplified by social media glimpses of happy families. Mike's profile showed holiday photos with Sarah, smiles forced. When he finally reached out, it was with news. I'm seeing a counselor. Alone. Progress but painful. We met at a neutral spot, a quiet bookstore in the village. I told the counselor about you, he admitted. She says I need to explore this, but ethically. The word ethically hung like a guillotine. How do you ethically dismantle a life? External pressures mounted. Mike's brother, suspecting something from family whispers, confronted him. You hanging with that gay kid? People talk. The homophobia stung Mike, awakening defensiveness. He's a friend, Mike retorted, but the exchange strained sibling ties. Meanwhile, at my job, a coworker outed my drama after overhearing a call, leading to awkward office dynamics. Is he leaving his wife for you? The question, casual yet invasive, underscored the controversy our story ignited, fueling discussions on fluidity, fidelity, and fairness. Reconciliation came unexpectedly. During a citywide blackout, Mike's bus route turned chaotic. I boarded amid the confusion, and in the dim emergency lights, we talked like old times. I can't deny this anymore, he said, but I won't blow up my family without trying to fix it first. We agreed to boundaries, friendship only for now, but emotions don't heed rules. A shared laugh, a lingering gaze, sparks flew. As power restored, so did hope, but with caveats. The high point or low, depending on perspective, arrived at New Year's Eve. Invited to a low-key gathering at Mike's, I went, sensing closure or catalyst. Sarah was cordial, but her eyes held questions. As fireworks lit the sky, Mike pulled me aside. This year, I choose honesty. He confessed his feelings to Sarah that night, not as betrayal, but truth. The fallout was immediate. Tears, accusations, a temporary separation. Mike crashed at a motel, calling me in the wee hours. Did I do the right thing? The question echoed my own doubts, as societal norms clashed with personal truth. The separation hit like a freight train, derailing lives in its wake. Mike moved into a cramped studio in Queens, the kind with peeling wallpaper and noisy neighbors, a far cry from his family home. It's temporary, he assured me over phone calls that stretched into dawn. But temporary felt eternal. Sarah filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, code for the emotional chasm widened by his confession. The kids, confused and angry, shuttled between parents, their questions piercing, "Why, Dad?" Mike's answers were honest but incomplete. "I need to figure out who I am." Society's lens magnified the mess. Friends divided into camps, some supportive of his journey, others branding him selfish. I became the unintended focal point. Anonymous messages trickled in via social media. Homewrecker. Predator. The vitriol stemmed from leaked details, perhaps from Mike's brother or mutual acquaintances. In LGBTQ communities, opinions split. Allies praised the authenticity, critics decried enabling adultery. Emotional affairs count. One forum post read, "I defended myself internally. We hadn't crossed physical lines, but guilt persisted. Therapy helped unpack it. You're not responsible for his choices," my counselor said. Yet, being the catalyst weighed heavy. Mike and I navigated this new terrain cautiously. Dates, real ones now, started simple. Walks in Prospect Park, coffee in Hidden Gems. His touch, tentative at first, evolved into hand-holding, a public declaration in a city that both celebrated and scrutinized. "I'm scared," he admitted during one outing. "What if this is a phase?" The question sparked our biggest fight yet. If it's a phase, then what am I? An experiment? I yelled, storming off. Reconciliation came with apologies and promises. It's not a phase. It's real. But doubts lingered, fueled by external noise. Custody battles added drama. Sarah, hurt but fair, sought primary care, arguing Mike's instability. Court hearings exposed private pains. Therapist's notes on Mike's identity crisis. My role as the other man. The judge, progressive, emphasized the kid's well-being, but conservative elements, like Mike's family, pushed back. His parents disowned him temporarily, echoing my own past rejection. "We raised you better," his father said. "The parallel strengthened our bond. But at what cost?" Kids' therapy sessions revealed resentment. The daughter blaming me, the son withdrawing. Amid the turmoil, moments of joy emerged. Mike attended his first Pride parade openly, rainbow flag in hand. "This is for us," he said, kissing my cheek amid cheers. But backlash followed. A viral post from a rider recognizing him as the bus driver who went gay. Comments ranged from supportive to hateful, sparking online debates on midlife awakenings. "Is it brave or betrayal?" one thread asked. Mike lost some routes, reassigned amid complaints, subtle discrimination masked as passenger comfort. Our relationship deepened through adversity. We moved in together after 6 months, a cozy apartment in Brooklyn Heights. Domesticity brought normalcy, cooking dinners, debating news, but shadows loomed. Sarah started dating, easing some guilt, but kids' visits were tense. "Are you happy now, Dad?" the daughter asked once, eyes accusatory. Mike's affirmatives were heartfelt, but the pain was palpable. Society's expectations clashed. Was happiness worth the wreckage? A turning point came at a family mediation. Sarah, composed, addressed me directly. "You didn't cause this, but you're part of it now. For the kids' sake, let's make it work." Her grace humbled me, sparking reflection on forgiveness. Mike's coming out rippled positively too. His nephew, inspired, found courage. But controversies persisted. Media picked up the story anonymously, framing it as straight man's gay awakening destroys family. Debates ensued on talk shows. Fluidity versus commitment, love versus loyalty. As we built our life, challenges evolved. Mike quit driving, pursuing mechanic certification, a dream deferred. I launched my design firm, incorporating LGBTQ themes. Our story became a quiet testament, shared in support groups. Yet, the initial act, that bus intervention, loomed as the spark. What if I hadn't spoken up? Mike wondered. And then was a tapestry of pain and growth, questioning norms. Stability settled uneasily, like a house built on shifting sands. 2 years in, Mike and I celebrated our anniversary with a quiet dinner overlooking the skyline. "To us," he toasted, eyes shining. But beneath the romance, scars remained. The kids adapted slowly. Playdates turned into overnights, their acceptance grudging but growing. Sarah remarried, her new partner a steady presence that eased transitions. Yet, family gatherings were minefields. Mike's parents thawed, but awkwardness lingered. "We love you, son," his mother said at a reunion, glancing at me warily. Inclusion felt tentative, a reminder of societal divides. Professionally, Mike thrived in his new role, mentoring young mechanics, including LGBTQ youth. "Paying it forward," he called it. My firm flourished, designing campaigns for equality. Our story inspired others. Couples reached out, sharing similar journeys. But criticism persisted. A conservative podcast lambasted us as agenda pushers, igniting online firestorms. "Marriage is sacred," commenters railed. Counterarguments defended fluidity. Love evolves. The debates mirrored our internal ones. Had we prioritized self over sacrifice? A major conflict arose when Mike's daughter, now a teen, rebelled. "You left Mom for him," she screamed during a visit. The accusation reopened wounds. We attended family therapy, unpacking layers. Her fear of abandonment, Mike's regret over timing. "I should have handled it better," he admitted. I felt peripheral yet central, questioning my place. Am I worth this? The session ended in tears, but breakthroughs. Hugs, promises to communicate. Society's role in her angst was evident. School peers teased about her gay dad, fueling identity struggles. Highs balanced lows. We traveled to San Francisco, immersing in queer history. Mike marveled at Stonewall replicas, connecting dots to his awakening. "That bus stop was my riot," he joked. But real riots brewed. Anti-LGBTQ legislation in other states sparked protests we joined. Mike spoke at one, voice steady. I was straight once, or thought I was. Love doesn't fit boxes. Applause followed, but so did threats. Anonymous emails decrying perversion. The controversy amplified our visibility, for better or worse. As time passed, normalcy took root. Friends' weddings included us as a couple, kids' graduations became shared milestones. Sarah and I even bonded over coffee, forging uneasy alliance. He was lost before you, she confided. Her words absolved some guilt, but ethical quandaries remained. Had Mike's act, that initial defense, led to inevitable pain or preventable joy? Reflecting on the journey, the drama unfolded logically. From spark to flame, conflict to resolution. Emotions drove choices, societal pressures tested them. The and then was transformation. Painful, contentious, but authentic. Was it morally right for Mike to pursue his true self at the expense of his original family's stability?